The 2021-2022 format in Pokemon TCG Online will be quite fascinating, with changing formats, power creep, and a totally new game. Some older cards are also making a reappearance, with some of them even making it into the top decks, with newer and more powerful cards changing the Pokemon TCG Online meta with each expansion. Figuring out what the top decks in the game will be in 2022 can be challenging. Now, before we move on to the top standard decks of 2022, press the like button and subscribe to our channel, and also don't forget to click the bell icon to never miss an update from us. The 10 best decks for the standard format in 2022. It's worth noting that many decks don't have a type advantage over one another, making it difficult to rank them. But this is not a format tier list, which is one deck is superior to the next in rank, but rather a list of the 10 decks that have consistently performed well in tournaments. Number 10, Mew VMAX. As soon as Fusion Strike was revealed, it was clear that Mew VMAX deck had become the new best deck in the format. Thanks to Genesect's ability, it has the extraordinary power to bring you the cards you need when you need them. Mew VMAX attack also allows you to use Genesect's Technoblast, which deals 210 damage with only 2 energies. When you add on a power tablet, you've got enough to OHKO a VMAX. Number 9, Jolteon VMAX. Jolteon is currently one of the finest decks available, challenging Rapid Strike or Shifu for the top spot in the spread. Jolteon is currently ranked second, only behind Mew VMAX, making it an excellent choice for any competitive gamer. Jolteon is a simple to pick up and play, and it works well with the Inteleon engine. When utilized with the Inteleon engine, Path to the Peak, Marnie, and the Elemental Badge, Jolteon is a difficult opponent to stop. Number 8, Duraludon VMAX. Duraludon uses Zacian, Zamazenta, and the meta's over-reliance on special energies to do significant damage. With Intrepid Sword, accelerate energy onto your Pokemon, then utilize Bronzong to transfer energies about at your leisure. Most decks in the meta can't deal with Zamazenta and Duraludon, thus, it's a strong contender for the first place on this list. Even more recent Duraludon VMAX deck lists have omitted Zamazenta in favor of cards that completely block Mew VMAX, such as Crushing Hammer and Avery, leaving Zacian as the only secondary attacker. Number 7, Sylveon VMAX. This deck uses Sylveon VMAX, Blaziken VMAX, Octillery, Rapid Strike, or Shifu VMAX. With a strong Octillery engine and the early Dream Gift setups, this deck doesn't have to hard counter anything in the meta. Max Harmony, a card from Sylveon VMAX, benefits from having several varieties of Pokemon, hence it was designed to be utilized in a deck with variety. It's more of a toolbox deck that can win in certain matchups, but it suffers from having too many options and isn't as consistent as other Evolution or Inteleon-based strategy. Number 6, Counter Mew VMAX with UMBREON VMAX. This deck is extremely difficult to defeat when played correctly. Its aim is to get as many Houndooms out of the way as possible before launching Single Strike energy at Single Strike or Shifu VMAX. You can also use UMBREON VMAX as a secondary attacker and use its ability, which is essentially a built-in boss's orders. Despite already being a strong deck, UMBREON VMAX has been strengthened by Mew's status as the top deck in the format. After all, Darkness is a powerful mental deterrent. This is one of the most effective decks for dealing with Mew. Number 5, LEAFEON VMAX. LEAFEON VMAX, like most of the EV evolutions released in the Evolving Skies, received mixed reviews at first, with many criticizing it as unimpressive at best. However, since then, LEAFEON's ability to successfully pair with Galar has proven to be a major game changer for the existing meta. Oh, and LEAFEON's vulnerability to fire, which helps in the meta with few fire decks. LEAFEON's fire ability has been called into doubt since the release of Mew's VMAX, owing to Mew's 0 retreat cost. That's a problem because LEAFEON's Grass Knot attack deals damage based on your opponent's active Pokemon's total retreat. Players have begun to combine the incredibly powerful Grass-type Pokemon with Galarian Moltres V to oppose Mew. However, this may not be enough to assure its survival in the meta. Other, most unusual techs, such as Single Strike Beedrill and the recently added LEAFEON V-Star, should be examined instead. Number 4, Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. Only 2 water energy are required for Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX to begin attacking for up to 250 damage. These figures are comparable of those of ETERNATUS VMAX, which requires a full board of Darkness-type Pokemon to achieve a similar level of damage. There is room in your deck for another Water-type sidekick, Inteleon from Sword and Shield because it requires less cards but does the same amount of damage. Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX with Inteleon due to its type, as well as its high damage potential. It isn't quite as powerful or consistent as Shadow Rider Calyrex, but it's still a nice card that performs well in tournaments. Number 3. ETERNATUS VMAX. Because ETERNATUS VMAX decks don't rely on Dedan GX and Crobat V is still legal in Standard. They survived the 2021 rotation. ETERNATUS essentially increases the size of your bench and allows you to deal damage based on how many Pokemon you have in play. Because this is an all-dark deck, the only cards that can beat it are fighting decks. Urshifu VMAX decks are a thing right now, and if that Pokemon gets going, especially with Single Strike Scroll or Scorn, you have a horrible opening hand. ETERNATUS won't be able to stop it. We wouldn't change anything about this deck unless you want to adjust some of the Pokemon card counts. You also have UMBREON VMAX in the deck, and Dark types are a good counter against Shadow Rider Calyrex decks. In the 2022 format, ETERNATUS is without a doubt one of the finest decks ever seen in the Pokemon TCG Online. Number 2. GENGAR VMAX. It's a single strike Pokemon with devastating attacks. We know this card may profit from the many excellent cards available for this sort of deck because it's a single strike Pokemon. Single strike energy improves your damage output, and UMBREON VMAX is a terrific technique to swarm opponent Pokemon. With Fear and Panic, GENGAR VMAX can do a lot of damage to punish your opponent for filling their bench with Pokemon V. On Single Strike Urshifu VMAX, GMAX Swallow Up appears to be comparable to GMAX One Blow with a somewhat lower drawback. Use a mix of manual attachments and Houndoom's Single Strike Roar ability to slow down UMBREON V and GENGAR V and boost their attack. Use the Inteleon Engine's part to locate the critical cards you require as they become available. GENGAR VMAX's Fear and Panic attack, UMBREON V's Moonlight Blade attack, or UMBREON VMAX's Max Darkness attack can all be used to knock out opponents. Number 1. RAYQUAZA VMAX. RAYQUAZA was a widely mocked deck during its initial release. Unfortunately, because of the widespread mockery, many people dismissed it as an attacker for casual decks that had no place in the current meta. Much of the duration stems from the fact that many players depended on too many Flaffy to get the job done, a Pokemon that is readily neutralized by the several bench sniping decks available. Ray's capacity to stand out in the current meta has been all but confirmed, thanks to the release of a few new cards and the valiant efforts of a player who finished 3rd in a major event. This new approach of playing RAYQUAZA concentrates on Boltund 5 Electrify ability while deleting cards like Professor's Research and Marnie in favor of allies that complement the deck's primary strategy. RAYQUAZA not only has the ability to one-shot any Pokemon VMAX in the game, allowing him to win confrontations quite easy, but he also has no weaknesses. This, paired with his new role, eliminates his bench weakness and reliance on Flaffy. When you add in the fact that RAYQUAZA has a fantastic ability to go along with its enormous VMAX killing attack, you have a deck that might well be the dark horse of 2022. These were some powerful standard decks of 2022 that will probably help you win tournaments if you are participating in any. Which deck has worked for you? Do let us know in the comments below. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel Pokemon Planet for more such exciting content. See you in the next video.